Hey guys, welcome to another Bucks Live. I'm Rick Hughes. That's David Whitescarver, and we're here to talk Bucks. And we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about because your Tampa Bay Buccaneers are NFC South champions. We're going to the playoffs. We're playing Philadelphia, and we're talking about it right here on Bucks Live.
Are you ready? Get ready.
Get ready. It's time for Bucks Live.
Bucks Live.
Bucks Live.
Tampa Bay Buccaneers talk with Rick Hughes and David Whitescarver.
This is
Bucks Live.
Let's Go.
Let's go.
All right, let's go. Let's go. Castillo, I see you there from Arizona. Go Bucks. That's right. Christopher Cole, how you doing? I see you out there. It's a good night. It's a good night. It's playoff week. The first, hopefully.
San
Dave,
Gato is back.
how we doing? San Gato is back. How you doing tonight, Dave?
Let's fire Todd Bowles. Get rid of everybody. This team's horrible. They're 3-5. They're just awful. Get rid of them all. Get rid of Jason Light and get rid of everybody. They're awful.
Fire everybody.
Fire
the
everybody.
cannons and everybody.
Get rid of Baker. He's a journeyman, know nothing. Get him out of here.
Yeah, listen.
Defense is a sieve. Get him out.
How beautiful is this? By the way, for everybody who says that Todd Bowles has a losing record everywhere, he actually does not. He now has a 500 record with the Buccaneers. 8-9 last year, 9-8 this year. I believe that makes him the I believe he is the second highest highest winning percentage of any Buccaneers coach at this point.
There's a lot.
Anyway.
There's a lot of L's and a lot of coaches that have come through
Yeah.
Tampa Bay
Yes,
since
there are.
1976.
Yes, there are. But even the good ones, even the coaches who you think had better records, they did not. I mean, we're on a great run here, guys. This is the best run in the history.
Are you
of this
referring to Lehman
organization.
Bennett or maybe Richard Williamson?
Richard Williamson for sure. Listen, this is the best run in Buccaneer history. Whether you want to, just let that sink in. Now that tells you actually how bad things have been around here. But this is the best run, best little run that we've gone through as Buccaneers fans. Best 4-year run ever. It's a good, exciting, fun, absolutely spectacular time to be a Buccaneers fan. So I don't know.
Now I know what it's like to have my team win 3 division titles in a row. Not necessarily the way you want it, but it's done. Check, check, and check.
Castillo, I don't know which one you're talking about, but I always close the show with "Go Bucks, go Bucks, go Bucks." So I'm not sure what that outro was that you're referring to. I don't know which one, but I appreciate the fact that you liked it. Stick around because we do have a new one. And I still close the show with "Go Bucks, go Bucks, go Bucks" because that's kind of really what this is all about, isn't it? I mean, and for those of you who don't know, I'm going to go ahead and say this real quick. For those of you who don't know, Dave and I have known each other since when, Dave?
I believe it was Mrs. Rainey's first grade class at Shenandoah Elementary School.
First grade, Shenandoah Elementary. Dave and I wore Buccaneers creamsicle orange to Shenandoah Elementary while everybody else
Nobody else did.
Yeah, nobody. Everybody was wearing Dolphin shirts, if anything. and mocking them because this was right after the Dolphins had their perfect seasons. And yeah, I got quite a bit of abuse. I had a Steelers fan that lived across the street from me. And down the street, there was a Rams fan and a Dolphins fan and another Dolphins fan around the corner, Tim. And yeah, we got some abuse. I got abuse. I can tell you that. I got all kinds of abuse. But let me tell you something, guys. We've been here the whole time. This is the golden era. This is the best time. This is the best time to be a Buccaneers fan. So enjoy it. Love it. It's a good time. This is a very good time. And let me tell you something. This is a likable team. This is not the team we've dealt with all our, kind of our whole time. So there have been times you've looked at teams and just gone, oh man. Yeah, there have been times when I don't know. I mean, it's you're trying hard to like the guys when the best guy on the field really that everybody loves, Gerald McCoy, still does nothing memorable. Really, you can't name one Gerald McCoy play, even if you love him. And I like him as a guy. I really like him as a guy. I mean, I really think as a fan, he's a great Bucs fan. He's a great supporter of the team. But I can't remember one play of his the whole time he was here. Those teams were not likable per se. There was nobody on those teams that you can look at and attach to and think, man, and that was fun. But
He'd be cool to go to a watering hole after a game with.
Gerald McCoy, oh yeah, he'd be a hoot. He'd be a hoot, kind of like Jameis. I mean, you never know what's going to come out of that dude's mouth. I mean, he's proven that, hasn't he? He did this way. You just never know what he's going to do. But I don't know. No, Christopher Cole. I did not see the podcast with X-Raider CEO talking about the Winston thing and Dennis Allen that he has lost the locker room. I did not see that. I can tell you, holy cow. I mean, the fact that the coach says, I sent them out there and told them to kneel, and then Jameis says, well, we took a vote and decided to line up in victory formation and run over the Falcons. Everywhere Jameis goes, there's just some kind of
Hey, look at what he's done since those shackles in Tampa Bay were lifted from him, and he's been able to achieve his quarterback maturity and ceiling since he's
in
left.
FSU. There was chaos with Jameis. Okay, they won a lot, but there was chaos. And I'm not even saying he's guilty of anything he was accused of there, but I am saying he was, if nothing else, guilty of poor judgment in the situations he put himself in. And then he comes to Tampa, and again, chaos. 30 interceptions to go with those 30 touchdowns. And then to look.
He just likes completing passes. It doesn't matter to which
It doesn't
team.
matter to who. When he looks at the media and says, I'm out there balling, check your sheet. I mean, he was balling so much he's really hasn't been on the field again as a starter for sure. Then he goes to New Orleans, and guess what happens? Chaos! I was just watching the John O. Barnes live stream, and he was talking about how, yeah, Jameis is gone. He's gone. There's just so much. Jameis is just, there's always something with that guy. There's always something. But before we do anything, but how about even before we get even before we get to talking about the Bucs in general or Philadelphia or any of that, let's just quickly let's do an overview of the 9-0 game. There aren't a lot of highlights, so we don't have to talk about it long. The highlight is certainly our kicker, who's the best kicker in Bucs history, and he came cheap Jason Light did it again. So props to Jason Light again, as always. Props to Jason Light. But yeah, again, he comes out and wins the game for us. I mean, it's really hard for like Panthers to win a game. It's hard to win when you can't score.
I think the highlight of the game was Antoine Winfield Jr.
There's no doubt.
That was the turning point of the game.
There's no doubt.
That was your highlight.
That's your highlight of the
that just
season.
Encapsulates the whole game.
I think that's your highlight of the
day.
Season. And actually, I'm going to play a video clip from Pro Football Talk of Chris Sims talking about the Buccaneers. And Pro Football Talk, there have been years when they've not been so positive about the Buccaneers. And so this kind of caught my attention. But I want to play this little clip. And Antoine is brought up in this clip.
You're all about the quarterback all the time.
And Baker Mayfield was just floating around for anybody who wanted him.
That's right.
$4 million.
He wasn't horrible. He was on crappy teams.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, look at him. Good for him in the playoffs. Tampa Bay, Todd Bowles, right? 2 years in a row. Let's salvage the end of the season. Like, I mean, I'm excited for them. They got some personalities I like and want to root for.
They got off to a good start. They hit a rough spot, and it was looking like Bowles was going to be one of the guys who ends up out of a job today because we know how the Glazers can be very sudden and abrupt when they decide to move on. And there was talk about maybe them being smitten with the idea of bringing Belichick to Tampa to fill that stadium. They have a hard time filling that stadium.
Yeah.
Even when they win the division. They're gonna have, I mean, they may have a hard time on Monday night filling that stadium.
As I always say, they have a great fan base down there. It's great. They don't have a lot of big money people down there. So that's where it's a little different, right? You know, you come up here to New York City, right? You can just go down the street I live in, and there's just, you know, millionaires everywhere. People with, I got my 7th Ferrari in the driveway. Some of the big cities have that luxury. So, yeah, season tickets. Like the Patriots game was sold out yesterday, right? Boston. But there was only half the stadium filled, but it doesn't matter. There's so many rich people in Boston, they go, we don't care about that $4,000 you spent on that game. We won't show up. That doesn't go on in Tampa. It's a working class crowd. It's more of a middle class crowd. So it's a great fan base. They just can't always pay NFL ticket prices all the time.
Yeah, but they're giving them a reason to be excited.
That's right.
And I don't know how far the Bucs can go. We would have thought not long ago whoever wins the NFC South is destined to be one and done because it's either going to be the Eagles or the Cowboys. And they're going to make quick work of them. Well, no, now you're going to have a lot of people who are behind the Buccaneers in this one on Monday night because the Eagles are limping in, and we'll see. But we know the Bucs are capable of a stinker. We see a periodic stinker.
Yesterday
from the
was
Buccaneers.
Stinkerish,
and they still found a way to win. Yeah, they basically let the Panthers hang around long enough to take it. The Panthers just weren't capable of taking it.
That's exactly. I think that's the way to say it. I mean, again, the game it's dicey. It's 0-0, right? You're going, oh my gosh, is Tampa asleep at the wheel? Are they seriously going to lose at home to the Saints and then go lose in Carolina to the worst team in football and not get in the playoffs? I mean, you know the play of the day. The play of the day was made by the man, the myth, the legend, Antoine Winfield Jr., 0-0. Early second quarter. Bryce Young scrambles. DJ Chark up the sideline. Touchdown. Dives in. We almost had Sim Jong-un and it went into the end zone for a touchback. But no, it stayed in the field. Winfield
was recovered. That's the way it should be. The defense earned possession. They recovered the ball.
Well, they recovered it, but what a play by Antoine Winfield, right?
All right, so there's a lot to unpack there. But the one thing I want to point out about that play, because everybody is rightfully talking about Antoine Winfield. Everybody's rightfully talking about that. But the guy who got burned on that play in the first place did not give up on the play. Followed the play, even though he's the one who got burned on the play. Jamel Dean followed the play and was there to scoop up the fumble.
Never, ever, ever give up.
That is correct. So, you know what? Even though he got burned, he got the fumble recovery. Antoine Winfield, you are the best player on this football team, period. It's not close. So, yeah, I mean, the Pro Bowl thing is just a stupid conversation. I don't want to even get into that here. I just think it's stupid to have that conversation. It's just the guy's going to be possibly first team All-Pro, and he didn't make the Pro Bowl. It's just a stupid conversation.
I hear they play flag football or something dumb like that.
Whatever.
Too.
Yeah, and I know somebody rightfully thinks they're babies for doing it, but I don't know.
Don't be a baby. You don't get on the spot.
Right.
It's pretty
That's
simple.
right. That's exactly
You don't
correct.
have to be a good guy. You just don't have to be a baby.
That is correct. But I mean, there was a lot to unpack there about, I've seen so many people online saying don't sell your tickets to Eagles fans, and I understand that. By the way, if you were at the Carolina game, the lower bowl was red. So it's not just Tampa. I mean, there were I was hearing 15,000 or so Bucs fans in the lower bowl, and not even close to that Panthers fans.
Guess they rubbed their nickels together and got enough money to go up to the Panther game, huh?
Yeah,
it's working class Tampa,
Well, I think there's truth to that, though. It's a blue collar town. Yeah. I mean, you go there, it's let's be honest. You're not talking South. You're not talking South Beach. You're not talking. I mean, the city is not. This is not an overly wealthy city. It's just not. They've never easily filled the stadium. That's not what they can do. But you notice even like with the Rays, the TV numbers are through the roof. And you say people aren't going to the games. Well, that's kind of why. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know.
There's a lot between New York and Tampa as far as different types of cities that have NFL teams. And the whole point of parity makes it so Bucs win the Super Bowls.
Yeah.
In other sports, baseball, you don't see that happening.
San Educato, I think you're asking if I went to the game. I was not able to go to the game. Is what it is. I was not able to go to the game, but I enjoyed every minute of it. I can tell you that. It was a beautiful day. Weather was perfect. Everything about the day was perfect. And so was sitting and watching the game. So, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I want to talk about one other thing. Well, I really want to talk about David Tepper again. Just because of, I mean, it's the gift that keeps on giving. He's just, he's so, there's not a, as soon as we get rid of what's his name, and it's hard to even come up with words. The Washington, we get rid of Daniel Snyder, and you think, okay, there go the idiots. Somebody's got to step up.
Just because you're wealthy with lots and lots of money doesn't mean you're bright. Sometimes,
right. But he is bright.
I'm talking football bright. He's not.
I think he just doesn't know how to function maybe in this environment, or I don't know. I just don't.
He's used to, if an investment goes bad, you sell it and you move on and you find a better one. I mean, that doesn't work very well in the NFL.
Well, he's ruining his investment here. I mean, that's just a fact. Now, by the way, the Panthers are talking about interviewing Bucs salary guru, the man who's done magical things with the Buccaneers salary cap, Mike Greenberg. The Panthers are going to interview him for general manager. And the Panthers are going to interview Dave Canales for head coach. Now, for everybody who says there's no chance it's going to be Dave Canales, they'll pick somebody else first. You got to understand something. Both parties have to agree. And right now, this Panthers job, remember how we had to go to like our 12th choice to get an offensive coordinator because it didn't look like a good job to take? The salary cap, Todd Bowles, I mean, a lot of the players leaving because when Tom Brady left. It didn't look like a good job to take. So they ended up with like their 12th choice in Dave Canales. The Panthers are not going to get top choice when it comes to head coaches. They're going to have to settle on somebody. It's a copycat league. You're looking at an offensive coordinator who, well, when he was in Seattle, Geno Smith did what? And when he left Seattle, Geno Smith did what?
And what did Russell Wilson do when he left Seattle?
And what did
Just came to mind.
No, that's correct. And then what happened to Baker Mayfield when Canales got a hold of him? So we can cross our fingers, and I do cross my fingers and say, I hope they're back next year. I hope we get this whole coaching staff back. I hope we get Baker back and all the guys. We'll deal with that later when the offseason comes. But right now, just pointing out that's something that's happening. And Dave, last week you talked about David Tepper as being a baby on our last show.
Low-hanging fruit.
There's never a shortage. There's always low-hanging fruit, as evidenced by yet again this week. When
you don't
Dave
even have
gives
to leave
advice,
the division.
When Dave gives you advice and says, "Don't be a baby."
To the hip hop, the hip it to the hip hop, and you don't stop the rock it to the bang bang boogie. Say up jump the boogie to the rhythm of the.
Who's the bigger baby? It's hard to figure out sometimes. All we have to do is stay in the division and go to the Saints and the Falcons. On the Falcons side, you have people who are sitting there in watching their opponent be in victory formation in a game of which they are no longer part of the playoffs. Their season's well done and over, and they get ran over on the final play or close to the final play of the game. Number one, who does that? Apparently, there was a vote taken by the Saints, and they're a big bunch of babies for doing it in the first place. And then Arthur Smith has to be a big baby, too, because then he goes and won't shake Dennis Allen's hand, gets in his face and says, why'd you do that? Why'd you pull that? And that sort of thing. The whole bottom line is it's a bunch of babies all around the NFC South except in Tampa. So I'm just almost speechless when you start to realize what happened at the end of that game. But there's babies to go all around. And it's just a bad look for the NFL. And what are the Saints players thinking? What is Dennis Allen thinking? What is Arthur Smith thinking? And after his griping and moaning about what happened to him, which I agree, I'm not sitting here saying that the Saints shouldn't have done what they did. They shouldn't have. But really, are you going to put full on the fire? And right before you get fired, your final act is to not shake the coach's hand and to go ballistic on him. It's like, come on, guys. And here's another class. This is your special baby edition. This is a class. It's a class of people in the National Football League. It's whoever the general managers and the executives that make the decisions about firing coaches. Don't you see? Mike Tomlin doesn't happen in Pittsburgh if you don't give him a chance to really do what he needs to do. Bill Belichick would never have happened in New England if you didn't give him the chance to do what he needs to do. I'm pointing at Mike Vrabel now. Talk about a bunch of babies. Let's go to the Titans because this was their explanation why they weren't going to try to get some draft capital. Mike Vrabel is a great coach, and there's definitely a market for his services. But they're like, it would take too long to put together a deal to get draft capital in return. Take too long. Did you see what your record is? You're now down a coach. You're in rebuilding mode, and you don't have time to put together a deal for a great coach? What is wrong with you people? It's like cry, cry, cry. If I can't fix it this afternoon, if I can't fire somebody, if I can't press a button, if I can't get something that's going to get journalists to come talk to me, I'm not going to do it. It's ridiculous. Quit being babies. Fire a coach when he deserves to be fired, not because it's easier than firing the rest of the players. And Saints and Falcons, kind of thanks.
Well, as I sat there and watched John O'Barnes' show, they are livid with Dennis Allen. They're livid with Dennis Allen, saying, how dare you apologize to the Falcons? They're all freaking out, losing it. They've given up on the next several years in New Orleans. There
was such hope and promise for next year.
They've given up on that. The Falcons, you see what's happening there. It's imploding. The Panthers have already imploded. I mean, they're in a constant state of implosion. I mean, wow, guys, we are set up for a few years. We really are set up. This could be an incredible run. By the way, Castillo, I can't say I disagree with this. We should tell the Panthers to pound sand. We just got Dave. I see that, but that's part of how you attract great head coaches, or and how you attract great coordinators. You can't tell them no. You can't go on to bigger and better things. Look, I don't think Dave Canales is going to be the choice there, and it's going to be good exercise for him to go ahead and do an interview after this season. But wow, yeah, I understand the thought of what you're saying, and I can't totally disagree with you. Now, I want to talk a little bit about Philadelphia. I want to talk about the Eagles. And the way I want to open this up is I want to let's talk a little bit about what has happened to the Eagles this year. All right. Now, there's a lot to talk about. They started 10-1. Dave, you were on here saying they're going to win the Super Bowl, I believe, or at least the NFC.
No. It was San Francisco was going to. I've been very consistent with that.
Yes,
the Eagles will be there, but they were
10-1, and I mean, they looked like world beaters, and then something went wrong, and I don't exactly understand what happened there. Things went bad. Things started to just come unwound, and in week 15, their defensive coordinator is still their defensive coordinator. However, they moved him from the field upstairs to a booth, and he's no longer calling the defensive plays. Now the defensive coordinator de facto, Matt Patricia, is calling plays. Everything's coming unwound in Philadelphia. They've lost 5 of 6. They're on the exact opposite trajectory that the Buccaneers are on.
Giving up 30 points on defense in that stretch.
It's a disaster what's happening there. And I decided, I thought it would be a good idea just to flip on to, kind of get to know the enemy. Get to know what we're facing. And I thought, I'm going to go ahead and turn on sports talk radio in Philadelphia. So I turned on 97.5 The Fanatic. And I started listening. And guys, I don't have words for what was happening. I mean, it was, they've already given up. They've conceded that the Bucs are going to win this game. The fans that were calling in, the announcers, they've given up. They've all given up. And on this show called Middays with Andrew Salciunas, I'm sure I said his name wrong, but really I don't care. On this show, I decided I was going to make a little phone call into the show. Why not? Rich from Tampa needed to make a call. So I went ahead and called the show, knowing full well I was going to start one way and turn it around, and the call was fun. It went like this.
Now, there are some people that are still fighting the good fight, like Rich in Tampa. What's up, Rich?
Listen, man, this pains me to call you and say this, but step away from the ledge, man. step away from the ledge. You already beat the Bucs once. I'm a Buccaneers fan.
Okay.
I'm worried about you, man.
You're worried about
It's
me.
not that
I appreciate you worrying about me, but it is that bad, Rich. You are a Bucs fan. You're not living what we're living through. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. That Eagles team that beat your squad in Week 3 is nowhere close to where they are now.
Well, I lived it mid-season, and you're right. You're right. We're going to kick.
Yeah,
your butt.
you lived it mid-season, man. But with all due respect to your team, you lived it with Baker Mayfield and company. I'm living it with a runner-up MVP quarterback last year, all pros on both sides of the ball, a team that was at the Super Bowl. Your experience and my experience are nowhere close.
You're right. We're going to win. I'm good with that.
Okay, congratulations. And then you'll lose in the next round. And if the Eagles win, the same thing will happen to them. I don't need smack talk from a Buccaneers fan.
So I had a good time.
It's like you're gonna kick our butt. Okay. We'll take it.
Right. I mean, they made it easy. You know, they made it easy. It's
a team that's gone splat that comes to mind is the Jacksonville Jaguars. Didn't even make it. At one point, they were the number 2 seed midway through the season, but they had injuries you can point to.
Yeah.
The Eagles, I don't know what happened there. I mean, did you get any feel from Eagle Land? What's gone wrong?
Everything. The defense, everything's coming apart at the seams. They're ready to fire the coach. Let's add. Guys, this is a good night. A blast from the past. For those who've been around my show going back years, I am very happy to have this gentleman come in, the professor, Johnny Dean. How you doing,
Rick? How you doing, David? David, long time no see, bud.
What's up, John? How you doing, Johnny?
All right. I don't know how good this is going to help your show, but hey, man, I'm here. How you doing?
Good.
Hey, we're abiding.
We are doing. Well, I mean, I had a great time calling Philadelphia radio and listening to Philadelphia radio and it's amazing to me because if you listen to Tampa radio, it's kind of wishy-washy. And yes, Castillo, he hung up on me. It's kind of Buccaneers hosts are kind of wishy-washy, but hopeful, and everything is hopeful. You listen to Philadelphia, and oh my God,
why play the game? Just forfeit.
Right.
Yeah, I've been in their chats all day today, man. It's been hilarious.
Yeah, it's a blast to do that. I mean, I had a great time, and if you guys want, I'll give you their phone number. I'll give you their phone number. Y'all are welcome to call them. I'll put it in chat. But yeah, I'd be happy for you to just, give them a call, tell them, hey, just say, hey, how you doing from Buccaneer land? They need it. You ready? I'll create a banner if I can figure this out quickly enough.
So you didn't stay on long. Is that indication?
No, he cut me off.
So you pissed him off, Rick.
What a shock. Like I didn't have that planned. I didn't have that planned. Yeah. I mean, I went in there knowing I was going to start one way and turn it around the other. So yeah, let me put this in here. This banner, Philly Sports Talk. Here's a banner for everybody. Give them a call tomorrow. Yeah. Tell them Rich from Tampa said hello.
Well, are they anything like Mark Madden here in Pittsburgh, dude?
I have no idea who that is.
He's syndicated though. It's called the Mark Madden Show, the Super Genius. He's a dick. He's pure dick.
Well, this guy, he was, I don't know if he was, I don't know about his personality because he was so sad. I mean, I was like worried about the guy. Seriously, it was like
Charlie Brown.
Yeah, I mean, like, oh man, this poor guy. It's like, oh, yeah, I couldn't believe it. But yeah, this guy, Castillo. I don't know about calling now. I don't know if they're on now. I have no idea.
You can leave a message.
You can listen to him on iHeartRadio, but call tomorrow like tomorrow during the day, tell them, send love from Tampa. But I mean, I just to me, that was a hilarious thing. I'm the whole day.
I don't
was
think I've
just-
ever heard that in that context where an entire city is basically waving the white flag and saying, we have no chance to beat you in the playoffs.
They're saying we don't want to be here. They're literally saying, I don't even want to be in the playoffs. This is going to be embarrassing. I mean,
sounds like me 3 weeks ago. I was like,
Yeah.
okay, we got the playoffs. We're in it. Let's do something with it now.
yeah, and I mean, they are the brutality they are dishing towards Matt Patricia, which I think is hilarious. I mean, they're ripping Nick Sirianni and saying, fire Nick Sirianni.
Oh, the coach of the year last year?
That guy would be without a job for about 16 seconds. I mean,
Absolutely.
are you kidding me? Do you want to fire Nick Sirianni and everybody, blow the whole thing up, start over? Eagles fans are idiots. I mean, they are idiots. Now, I know Saints fans are idiots. I know Saints fans are just complete D-bag idiots.
I didn't know Saints fans
But-
Saints had fans.
Yeah, well, sure they do. The Saints have fans. They're idiots. They like to dress up in gold sparkly crap, But I mean, I'm not.
Well, I said
I
that
don't know how much
wrong.
they
I
love
said
the
that
team.
wrong, Rick. I meant to say I didn't know Saints had football fans.
Right. Okay. I'll go with that. They
Okay.
have a bunch of people who like to dress up in sparkly gold stuff.
Yeah.
But when it comes to actually being
Get high on Bourbon Street and just party. That's it.
and really with that team, who blames them? But I mean, they've got no future. They are what a mess. I mean,
You didn't think Derek Carr had a great season as his first year as quarterback for the Saints?
and Marshawn
They put up
Lattimore's-
they put up 40 plus on the Falcons yesterday.
Marshawn Lattimore's probably gone. They are 90 million over the cap. They have 90 million in dead cap space. We had 80 this year.
Right.
They had to outdo us. They've got 90
And look what they got in
million.
return.
Right. Look at 90 million in dead cap space. I mean, it's a trashy city that smells like urine.
I was fixing to say that's what's wrong
Yeah.
with the Saints fans. They have to inhale all that stuff, and it's not just rats and stuff, gators and crap, coons. It's human feces,
Yes.
piss running down the streets,
Yeah.
puke.
Yeah. And then
Alcohol.
Philly, you go to Philly, that little
I just
bit
don't
of-
know what Philly's excuse is. So
Right. Well, I mean, if you've been to Philly, I've been to Philly, it's gray, everything. I don't know why the team's green. There's like not green in the city. I mean, even in the summer when you go there, everything's gray. So I don't know. I mean, why are we gray and they're not? I mean, it's backwards. I mean, they should be hey Philly, what's your team color? Smog. I mean, it's just an ugly city. I mean, when the bell cracks, they keep it. I mean, it's
I made that joke the other night.
right. I mean,
Oh,
wow.
our Bills damage. Good. Let's just put
Yeah.
it up and ring
Let's
it.
put a fake boxer as our hero.
I mean, seriously, the politicians left. They got out of there and said, "Let's go to Washington." I mean, it's
That's another
wow.
whole story right there. That city. Ugh.
Oh yeah. So I mean, but I hate the fans. The fans in Philadelphia are just ugly, awful, horrible people. I listened to just sports talk radio, and I think maybe some of our fans came from Philly, but I just, as I listen to the fans, I sit there and think, if I was in Philly, if I grew up in Philly, I would not want to be a fan in this environment where, I mean, that's right, Castillo. That is right, Castillo. Cry, Eagles, cry. That is exactly correct. Cry, Eagles, cry. Or as far as I'm concerned, die, Eagles, die this year. Because, I mean, I don't see anything about them right now that is. I don't see anything about this team, about these fans. There's nothing about the Eagles that I look at and go, see, there's a part of me that goes, I mean, y'all make fun of me for being a bit of an optimist, always trying to look at the bright side and finding the bright side of things and trying to stay positive. I'll look at it and say, if we lose to, I don't know, let's say we go and we lose to the Cowboys, right? If we lose to the Cowboys, that's brutal. That sucks. That's awful. But, they haven't been good in so long that who's going to take them seriously anyway? And, there are ways that you can feel the Eagles. There's nothing. I don't know what to grab a hold of there's nothing positive. The uniforms are ugly.
Oh, okay. You said grab a hold of. I was just thinking about the brotherly push and shit.
Well, yeah, they're whatever.
They could start each game off with the brotherly push, do a 100-yard brotherly push.
Tush push. Well, Philadelphia, if you ever saw the movie, was also about the tush push, but that's different. Dave's going, oh no, he went.
Oh boy.
Sorry, Dave.
I didn't mean to devolve your show into one of ours, man.
My apologies, Dave. If it was the Cowboys, I would have brought up Brokeback Mountain. So I mean, no matter what, we're in trouble. So I mean, that'll be next week. So I don't know. But it's just there's nothing about the Eagles that I can look at and grab a hold of and say, you can't even say, well, they've never won one. Yeah, they won one. So good. That crap's out of the way. God, I hate them. I'm supposed to hate our division teams worse. I know I'm supposed to. And I do really hate the Saints.
That's my ultimate.
I really hate the Saints. But the Eagles.
I don't really hate football teams except for the Saints and maybe Dallas fans. I don't hate the team.
No, there you go. There you go. You just gave me something positive. Don't really hate the team. They haven't done anything. I don't really hate the team. They got cool uniforms. Although for those who don't know, the star on their helmet is a rating. Yep. Some of y'all may not know that. 1 star. But the
before the Bucs became a team, I was a Dallas fan for years. And
I never was.
Jerry Jones took over that team, and I was like, oh, hell no.
Yeah, but
then did Landry the way he did. I mean, Landry needed to go because he was losing games, right?
Yeah.
But the way in which Jerry Jones fired him, come on in. Your shit's all packed up in there.
Well, imagine being the defensive coordinator in Philadelphia, and they don't even fire you. They keep you on the team. You're still called defensive coordinator, but we're going to let this guy actually do the job.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, can you imagine? I think about it. Like, I go to work. I can't imagine them saying, yeah, you're so bad. Just go sit over here, and we're going to let Bob handle your customers.
David, what's your idea of this stuff?
Dave?
I want to hear your opinion of all this, man.
Of all the Eagles?
Any of
or
it.
Just all of the above?
All the above. There you go.
Quite frankly, I've been thinking about this, and I've never seen a team implode without extenuating circumstances like the Eagles have.
Right.
They were a Super Bowl team. They were 10-1.
Right.
It's not like they had this rash of injuries or there's something you can point to. I've never seen a team completely come undone. Their defense over this 6 games going 1-5 has given up 30 points. Their defense didn't change. It's not like there's a different scheme. There's different players.
Right.
There's people hurt. It's just, it can't function anymore. That's absolutely almost bizarre to me how that possibly could have even happened.
Maybe the defense gave up on the offense because they've been was the first 10 games of the year they carried that team, man.
But then you go from 10-1 to 1-5 like that. It's almost like flipping a switch. It's like all the air got taken out of the Eagles, and it went to who knows where. It's gone. It's like the thrill is gone. I can't recall a team complete. I've seen collapses before, but there was reason for them. Starting quarterback goes out. But here it's just they've gone
They just
flat.
collapsed.
And actually, I mean, people, it sounds like in Philadelphia, they're all saying how bad it is, but I'm not even hearing a lot of explanation as to why.
Yeah, the only thing I can think of at all is that the team just quit. And that has to be something that went on in the locker room behind the scenes and shit.
Yeah, but I mean, with everybody, and now they have injuries. I mean, AJ Brown got hurt last game. You got Hurts walking out with a dislocated finger, I guess it was. I mean, if you saw that, his finger looked all jacked up. And I mean, there's now you've got that compounding everything. And by the way,
this isn't a high school team where there's some infighting and girlfriend issues in the locker room. This is professional football.
Right.
This is where you're 10-1 and you're getting paid a lot of money and it's rolling. And all of a sudden the wheels fall off, the wagon's gone down the mountain and it's into the gully below, gone completely smashed.
Yeah, the only thing that stops
I don't understand.
The only thing that makes a locker room in professional football stop is the staff. Somebody in the staff is and I can't point fingers because I don't know. I'm not there. But normally it's somebody in the staff that is just being a dick. And the locker room says, we're done with this shit.
That's just weird. I mean,
yeah,
I guess it had to do with the defensive coordinator. Maybe something went wrong there. I guess.
Yeah, all you do is speculate, and there's no basis for any of the speculation, honestly. But there is a collapse, and we have to speculate, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, what else are you supposed to do? I mean, all you can do is look at it and go, what happened?
I mean, something happened into the relationship.
Maybe the rest of the locker room just don't like Georgia Bulldogs.
I can understand that.
So, I mean, it's just weird. The whole thing is weird. And they're going to have to pick up the pieces. I mean, yeah, and I know Christopher Cole says Gruden is rumored to be going to the Saints. I heard as a coordinator. That he's not going back as a head coach, but he may go back as a coordinator. I don't know. I mean, I don't get it.
Can't he doesn't he get a veto vote on something?
As I look at
when you see the league, I thought you're like on the black sheep list or something.
No, he gets a veto, or is it more like Winston, who it's just y'all go out there and vote on what play we're gonna run? I mean, That's
the craziest thing I ever heard. You give a third string fucking quarterback the power to call a play like that in a victory formation.
They didn't give him.
I don't think he had the power.
Give him permission.
He just did it. And he had the scary thing is he had enough people. It's like, man, we can't do that. And it was like, okay, we voted.
Well, what do y'all?
Play
said,
determined.
Right.
His words were, I got out there and said, well, what do y'all want to do?
Let's go score a touchdown.
Those are his words, by the way. In the interview, he said, what do y'all want to do? I mean,
take a knee? Oh, no, we ain't taking no knee.
Line up in victory formation and then run over them. Now, it took me a while to understand because I guess the reason was they wanted to get this guy a touchdown because he hadn't scored a touchdown.
His bonus money.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
Then just don't line up in victory formation.
Right. Exactly.
He's sportsmanlike a little bit.
Right. Just line up in regular formation.
Well, I had to go back in my mind and remember, okay, did he play with Schiano? No, he didn't play with Schiano. So where did he get this from?
Yeah, well, that's
Schiano's theory of let's take a few knees out while we're finishing up the game.
Right. I mean, it was the most bizarre. Jameis's interview afterwards to me, wherever he goes, just weird chaos. I mean, This is not sarcasm. And the thing I'm about to bring up, and I know I joke around a lot and I say things that are off the wall, kind of sometimes for the laugh, and I do all that. This is a serious subject.
You know
This
how
is
people
not-
preface things with "this is not sarcasm" or "this is not."
Well, yeah, I have to do that right now because I want people to know I'm not making fun of this at all. And I'm genuinely not making fun of this. I'm genuinely asking, is Jameis on the spectrum? I don't mean that sarcastically. I mean it
that's
literally.
even better. That's even better that it's not a sarcastic question.
But there's so many times he does things that are just goofy and weird and off. Just off. That's a better way to put it. Goofy is not even the right word. Just off.
Yeah, you don't sit there and go, "That was hilarious," or "There was a point to it." You just go, "What?
What the hell?"
Right. Where you're just kind of going.
That went through his mind, and he thought that was a good idea or something.
Right.
Something he
rhymes.
should be saying.
Right. His rhymes at times. It's just, I mean, it's just, I don't know. It's weird. It's like the thought process with Jameis doesn't.
I think that was kind of confirmed with his Eaton wins. Come on, man.
Eating W's with the.
Yeah, that was so.
I just thought he was doing a tribute to JPP. I just, I don't know. I mean,
I
think he just went down, one of those roads that says road out, road closed. He went down one of those roads, busted through, and never came back.
Yeah,
I mean that's
mentally,
the best way to explain it.
Mentally, you're probably right. Mentally, you're probably right.
That workout video that he first put out there.
What was that? Thank you. That's exactly my point. Like somebody running around chasing him with a balloon or something. Like,
I don't care what you think you're getting out of that, dude, but don't put it on YouTube.
Right.
just keep it to yourself.
Right. It was just, there were so many weird things. And then he tried to go running through that little gate thing and it knocked him on his butt. And I mean, then he posted it. I mean,
yeah, I think
I
that
get
was
the feeling
established.
with Jameis. I get the feeling Jameis is as intelligent as the rest of us are. There are people who are very not intelligent. There are people who are geniuses over here. Wait, here we go. All the way one side or the other. Okay. And most of us are somewhere in here, right? Jameis's intelligence is in here also. The line is just the same as the rest of ours, but with him, it's like a dotted line. There's just like missing segments.
Here.
Right, okay, I got it. We think linearly. He thinks radially.
Yeah.
There you go.
I don't know what he thinks. It's just I don't know how he gets there. It's just
definitely
weird.
outside the box.
Right. KGH for life says this. Saints players have no respect for Dennis Allen. I don't know if they have respect for him or not. Okay. I don't know if it's
that
respect.
was confirmed to me after that.
Well, I don't know if it's respect. I think it's that Dennis Allen does not have control over his players.
Yeah.
Dennis
Or
Allen
play calls.
Which amounts to the same as not having respect.
Well, yeah, but I don't think they sat there and I don't think it was a matter of I don't like that guy. I've got no respect for him. I think it's just, I don't think they have disrespect.
Wait a minute. Wait. Hey, guys. Coach says victory formation. What do y'all want to do? Come on.
It is Jameis. Remember, he's thinking radially. He's not thinking linearly.
It's just weird.
Oh, wait a minute. It could have been a shot at Jameis with them going, yeah, let's go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you trying to get the kid in trouble at school, hey, let's go do this. No, why don't you?
Castillo just said something great. He just compared him to AB. It's the same kind of thinking. It's the thinking that you're just sitting there going,
okay.
That's not good for you. What are you doing? That decision is not good for you.
I take a little exception with this because AB is very special.
Dude,
he's on his own
Publix
Mount
crab
Rushmore
legs.
of whatever he is. So
Publix crab legs. Uber.
Yeah, the AB invented
check your sheet.
Invented a different spectrum to write out.
Check your sheet. That dancing in the eat the W's. the rap songs that he's done.
Rip,
There are so many
AB
things.
is
No,
the double
Dave, there's a
rainbow.
similarity. I don't know because I don't watch FSU football. And
Okay.
I mean, did Jameis get hit in the head a lot at FSU? I mean, were there concussions then? I mean, is this what the heck? He makes decisions that are just piss poor, bad decisions for himself professionally moving forward, time after time after time after time.
I can honestly say that AB so far and Jameis, neither one have left this world the way one of our former players did.
Well, no, not yet. And
K2, remember
no, I
K2?
know, and I know where.
Oh, good God!
Right. Well, I mean, there's a lot of bad examples of how players have left this world.
I
There's
think
a lot.
that's kind of the worst, man.
But-
Just, hey, Granny, ooh, yeah.
Wait,
Give me
I'm
them
not sure.
diapers.
I have no idea what he's talking about right now, and I'm a little nervous. It's not where I thought you were going. I'm gonna have to look that up now. I'm not sure what just happened, but the
I'm sorry. I'm just amused that we're headed to the playoffs and we're talking about how similar Jameis Winston is to Antonio Brown. I'm finding this is amusing.
well,
and Rick's making good points. That's the problem, man. He's making so many good points for him to be like Antonio Brown.
Well, yeah, but I don't understand. I mean, there's a lot of examples. This is my point about him. I mean, you can go back. You can say, first of all, the girl and the decisions made there that set him up for trouble.
I just want to know what happened that we don't know about.
Well, but I don't even know if anything happened.
I'm talking about silly, stupid shit.
Right. But he made that decision. He made the decision with the Uber. He made the decision to jump on the table and yell what he yelled, which made me think of my. I'm going to go ahead and tell the story. My nephew, when he was in high school or middle school, got in trouble for yelling penis out in class. And that's basically what Jameis did in college so you've got that. Okay. Then you've got the Uber incident that happened and everything that went along with that. And then you've got the crab legs. You've got him making all the decisions, the throwing the interceptions and thinking he's balling and that's how you should do it. Then looking at the media and saying, check your sheet, I'm balling. Then he goes to New Orleans and pulls the helmet out in complete disrespect, by the way, to the Buccaneers. He talks about he's home and how great it is he's dreamed of a Saints helmet and all this stuff. Maybe that's why you threw all those interceptions. You weren't really into it, were you, Jameis, here in Tampa? And then he gets there and he's a backup making $1 million a year or whatever it was instead of what he could have been making in Tampa. Great decision making.
Right after he said he was going to be $31 million, he's going to be a $30 million player for the Bucs. Yeah,
right.
Well, that didn't happen, did it?
Then the raps that he has, and there's so many videos of him rapping. Especially the one, everybody look this up, for the love of God, please look this up. Jameis Winston rapping to Ryan Fitzpatrick. You've got to look it up. Just look it up.
Too much magic. Too much.
And
too much.
Just think about being Ryan Fitzpatrick in this moment. And how he's just sitting there. There's a video running. A video running, and he's just sitting there like, I have to listen. And Jameis just keeps going. And it's this horrible, not really rhyming, not really working rap. Y'all remember that Bucs fan, Dave? I don't know if you know who I'm talking about. There was this Bucs fan that was out a couple of years ago that was doing all these horrible raps. He was terrible. And he kept putting raps out that were just terrible. And it was like Jameis.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I remember that guy.
Yeah, but it was like Jameis.
Yeah, well, I don't care what happened to him, honestly. But
I don't know. Maybe somebody finally told him, you understand all those followers are not there because they think you're good. Right. I mean, but with Jameis, that's the thing. It's like it's not one thing or two things or three things. I can literally list 10, 12 things that he's done.
Can you
10 or
list
12.
anything you're thankful for Jameis for?
Oh yeah, those were fun games. I can. Those were fun games. We went from boring, whatever. It was a thrill ride.
Right.
Every moment was
I
a
was going to
thrill
go a different
ride.
direction, but
So we have no idea who's going to catch the next ball he throws.
Well, I mean,
But
to me,
I'm
it was
thankful
like,
for Jameis Winston and Josh Freeman because they are my counters to when everybody says we always give away our best quarterbacks with Steve Young and Doug Williams.
Yeah.
Those are my counters.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, I remember the Josh Freeman story when we were going to watch the draft. From the moment he got in the car, all Rick said was, "Don't pick Josh Freeman. Whatever you do, don't." On the way there, we get there for a couple hours. Oh, only thing I want is I don't want them to pick Josh Freeman. And then, well, there's your Josh Freeman.
But they're picking the first round. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers select
Josh Freeman.
And talk about a bonehead. He goes into the room with all those the former Buck pros, the stars, Derek Brooks and those guys. Yeah. And this was when Leroy was still alive and shit. And he was there, and everybody was there, and Warren Sapp was there, and all these people were there. And he disrespected the shit out of them. So who's these guys, old guys? What the hell, dude?
He was probably drunk. I mean,
he probably was
probably drunk.
Looking back, yep.
But I mean, there have been, and when we think back about these years, we brought up Schiano. Dave, you brought up Lehman Bennett. You brought up,
oh my God,
Richard Williamson,
Ray Perkins,
yeah,
Ray Perkins. We brought up the knee, the diving at the knees by Schiano. We never brought up Mercer. We never brought up what's his name, the receiver from the Cowboys, the free agent guy who our trainer cut off his fingertips.
Perkins was brutal. Three a days.
Yeah, there were so many things that we've got in our history, and people are complaining and wanting to fire Todd Bowles. Tell me you haven't been around here long without telling me you haven't been around here long. I mean, if you want to get rid of Baker and Bowles, you're new here.
Any of those guys would have traded Bowles' record for theirs.
Yeah, it's
you want to go back to the Lehman Bennett years, I hear?
Welcome to all of you Bucs fans. But understand, this is the best we've ever had it. Okay.
12 straight seasons of 10 or more losses in a league that prides itself on parity and gives you every opportunity to turn it around.
The beautiful thing is the Panthers are going to suck for years. Now the Falcons are going to go into full rebuild, and the Saints are coming apart at the seams. What is the limit on how many of these things we can win in a row? How many of these banners we can hang? I mean, I want every stinking one of them. And anybody who says, I don't want to go to the playoffs, we might lose in the first round. What?
Those banners look great hanging in the stadium, man.
Beautiful.
They do.
Because they're not hanging in New Orleans, they're not hanging in Carolina, and they're not hanging in Atlanta.
And there's 2 Super Bowls to go along with it, and possibly more in the future.
Exactly. And this team did this on a down year with salary cap problems. What's coming in the next few years?
And in a cap rebuild.
No, that's what I'm saying. We did this in a down year, paying the bills from the Super Bowl, all of that.
Thank you. I don't.
Lot of debt. It's all paid for. We did it all in 1 year. We paid the whole bill in 1 year. I know that makes the CPA here on the screen happy. I mean, we paid the whole thing off. It's over and done. I mean, and look where we're at.
Write-off is done.
There is so much to be happy about. There is so much for us to be happy about right now. We're playing the Eagles this week. The Eagles in the playoffs again. That's who we basically always play. They should just go ahead and schedule it before the season starts. I mean, we play the Eagles always. Going back to 1979. I was at that game in 1979. Jimmy Giles. That's right. And and Ron Jaworski was the Eagles quarterback, and that was a beautiful thing. I remember looking through my binoculars. I was in the very top row of the big sombrero. I was in the very top row, and I remember looking through my binoculars and watching on 2 consecutive plays, just watching Leroy cause chaos, havoc. It was a beautiful and wonderful day.
Chaos.
And
I like
yeah.
that combination of those words. There we go.
Yeah.
It's a new word. Rick, you invented a new word, and I like
Yeah, I
it.
did, didn't I?
Because nobody thought
Chaos.
the Bucs were going to win that game.
When
That's
you said nobody, I thought you were coming out with the Harbaugh thing. I was like, oh, my
Oh, no.
So, I mean, guys, this year is as good as it gets, as good as it's gonna get. We'll relish every minute. Now, this week, here's my thoughts, and I want Johnny. Let's actually start with you, Johnny. What are the keys to the game this week? Have you thought about that yet? Have you worked it up yet?
Oh my God. Yeah, my first impulse was to do the Facebook thing that everybody repeats over it and over it and over until it's nauseating.
What's that?
You just score more than the other guy.
Oh Lord.
Yeah.
Thanks.
That's so I know that's so irritating. It's pathetic.
Thanks.
Okay, I'll try to give you something. They're outside. Okay, their corners are weak as hell right now, especially right now.
Right.
So we should be relying on Mike Evans and Chris Godwin in a lot of this stuff.
Right.
Keep your run in the game. Keep your run in the game. Got to keep them sold on the run so they don't put nobody over the top there.
Yep.
To cover those two. And then I think we can put points on the board. Defense, just do your thing. Winfield, go make everybody fucking regret keeping you out of the Pro Bowl.
Yeah. Dave?
Actually, this game comes down to the Philadelphia Eagles locker room. Do they have any juice left whatsoever? Because they are the more talented team. They were 10-1 at one point for a reason. Is there any shred of professionalism left in that locker room? If there is, I think they win. If there's not, the Bucs win a close game that's going to be painful to watch.
Let's hope they wake up after the game.
That's actually a really good analysis, Dave. I may clip that out and put yours and my prediction right next to each other. That was very good analysis. I don't agree with it.
And I didn't answer the question. I just said it comes down to the Eagles are the better team. When you look at that roster, they are. But is there any
check your sheet? That's what you're saying.
professionalism?
You're saying check your sheet.
Yeah.
And,
is there any left?
That doesn't do it. But my take on it is this. It's going to come down to this. 2 things. Our offensive line and our defensive line. Sounds obvious, right?
Ooh.
Our offensive line, we have to keep Baker healthy. All right? We have to keep Baker healthy. Yes, the cornerbacks are out for Philadelphia. Yes, they've got the injuries, but that doesn't do you any good if you're laying on your back. So they have to give Baker enough time to throw to those quarterbacks. Number 2, they have to make Jalen Hurts freaking miserable. All right, they have to harass him. We need to be aggressive with our D-line. We need to be all over that dude. Make him run, make him pay for it. He's injured, he's hurting a little bit, and they're saying the same thing about us. But we've got to make that guy miserable from the time he walks on the field. If he tries to run the ball with his messed up finger, hit him. I mean, that's the thing, is we've got to make sure that, you can fumble the ball with a screwed up finger like that. There are a lot of things going on. The keys to everything are, do we harass Jalen Hurts, and can we get the ball to our receivers?
That's the part where I'm kind of with David on the check the roster thing.
Yeah.
I think their trenches
I know
can outpower us.
It's a concern.
So I think defensively we got to scheme do a lot of scheming to get pressure. It's not going to be a man-on-man thing where we can outpower it. We can't outpower them.
Who better to scheme pressure than Todd Bowles?
Yeah, and I agree with that 100%.
So, yeah, for all the complaining done about him, we may have the perfect coach for this game. But let me also add this. We have to be aggressive offensively. We cannot just do this run, pass, run, pass, run, pass. We can't do that. We need to open it up. I'm not, listen, Dave Canales saying, we haven't even used our whole playbook. How about now?
Well, this is the time. This is the playoff playbook.
Yeah. How about now? Yeah.
Actually put some little twists and turns in there that nobody's seen yet.
Yeah,
Please
we cannot
run the same. That's kind of like your job.
Todd Bowles said it. He said we can't run the same plays we did last time we played them. And that's what the problem was, by the way, when we played the Saints again. We were running the same plays. They'd already seen them. All right, you can't do that time after time when you play teams. Dave Canales is going to have to be creative, and we're going to have to do some new and different things. We can't run the same game plan we did the first time, and I don't think we will because this is not the same Eagles team. So
this is where that experience for head coaches comes in. Usually in playoffs, is that they have got the experience to know what to hold back for playoff time.
Yeah.
What to use during the regular season. And we'll see if Todd Bowles has learned anything, if Arians has been in his ear or something.
Yeah, I need Yaya Diaby.
Oh my God, I love that guy.
So do I. I need Yaya Diaby to just go off. I just need him to go off. I need him to, I know he's a rookie. And listen, I've been reading, I keep seeing online people say, oh, well, by this time of the season, you're no longer a rookie. Yes, you are.
It's your
you still only
year.
have one camp under you. You don't have another training camp underneath you. You don't have an off season to process, study, and learn. You don't have, yes, you're still a rookie. Absolutely. But you can't play like it now. It's the playoffs. This is the playoffs. Playoffs? This is where it matters. So, guys, I'm excited about it. Johnny, I love being on your show. I have a ball being on your show. I really do. It's so much fun. I mean, you keep me awake. I'm trying to go to sleep. It's time for me to go to bed, and I stay on your show, and I'm like, I want to go to sleep, but I don't want to stop being on this show. I have a great time with it. Why don't you tell everybody where to find it?
Thursday nights, probably around 9 p.m. now, or maybe a little earlier. It all depends on my guest host, Alex's time schedule. He's in Canada on the West Coast, so it's a little bit odd. Right there. We'll be around.
Well, what's your YouTube
Look forward
channel?
to it.
I couldn't tell you.
Okay.
You see the face? Look for the face. Here's Johnny.
Okay, Dave. Yeah, look up Johnny Dean. Johnny. Next name.
I changed the name to it to Here's Johnny, so it makes it a little bit easier for people. It's still all those numbers and shit. I couldn't recite that crap.
Yeah. Well, what I did was look up Johnny Dean and then scrolled down until I found that picture. Once I found that picture, I was good. And if you would do me a favor and send me a link, I will forward it on to Dave, and maybe we could both hop in and say hello. Yeah, I don't know. You got a lot of people on there. It's a really fun show.
Well, it gets to be a free for all, but it's normally not 10 people on there. That was a special show that
one night. Yeah, that was crazy. Yeah. But it was a good time. I enjoyed it. You got a good cast of characters on there. So everybody call Philly Sports Talk. You see the banner at the bottom. Call Philly Sports Talk. And if we beat them, call them again. I'm
going to have to give that shot.
Yeah, I had a good time doing it. For those of you who didn't hear it, I'm going to play it one more time here real quick. I very much enjoyed giving a call to 97.5, the Fanatic.
I'm going back.
Now, there are some people that are still fighting the good fight, like Rich in Tampa. What's up, Rich?
Listen, man, this pains me to call you and say this. But step away from the ledge, man. Step away from the ledge. You already beat the Bucs once. I'm a Buccaneers fan.
Okay.
I'm worried about you, man.
You're worried about
It's
me.
not that
I appreciate you worrying about me, but it is that bad, Rich. You are a Bucs fan. You're not living what we're living through. They've lost 5 of their last 6 games. That Eagles team that beat your squad in Week 3 is nowhere close to where they are now.
Well, I lived it mid-season, and you're right. You're right. We're going to kick.
Yeah,
you
lived it mid-season, man. But with all due respect to your team, you lived it with Baker Mayfield and company. I'm living it with a runner-up MVP quarterback last year, all pros on both sides of the ball, a team that was at the Super Bowl. Your experience and my experience are nowhere close.
You're right. We're going to win. I'm good with that.
Okay, congratulations. And then you'll lose in the next round. And if the Eagles win, the same thing will happen to them. I don't need smack talk from a Buccaneers fan.
But you got it anyway. What were you going to say, Dave?
I thought you were pretty pleasant, actually. I didn't think you came in with guns blazing. I'm going to smack talk you. It was just.
Oh, no, that was the plan. No, the plan was so that they wouldn't cut me off. I had to come in gentle so that,
butter them up.
Take their finger off the dump
butter
button.
the turkey up before the outcome.
I had to make sure they took their finger off the dump button and weren't just ready to get rid of me right away. And I got my shot in. It was funny, but he knew to get me out of there because if it kept going, it was going to get brutal. So he knew it was time. It was time. I don't know. So Dave, you have any thoughts? Anything you want to add?
No, it's one of the more. I think back to when the Bucs were 3-5 and the Eagles were 10-1. Those points in the season, and to see the way this game is shaping up and how the Eagles are in an absolute free fall. Forget about the Bucs being involved for a moment. This is an intriguing matchup for those reasons. You've got Baker Mayfield, journeyman, who's maybe found a home in Tampa, taking on the defending Super Bowl champions who've lost 5 out of their last 6 games. To me, it's just an interesting matchup, and it just even more so that the Bucs are involved as the 3-time consecutive division champs.
It's good to be a Bucs fan right now. And this year, we're not having the whole Brady circus. Now it's all about the Bucs. It's not just about Tom Brady. It's really not, we're not hearing about Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. Tom Brady and the Buccaneers. It's like we're the Buccaneers were like the little side note. Now it's Baker Mayfield's led Buccaneers which is a whole different vibe. It's like I played it earlier. Like Chris Sims said, it's kind of a likable bunch of guys that you want to root for. It's good to be a Bucs fan. It really is good to be a Bucs fan. And let me tell you this. We're going to win this week. Eagles, you can die, Eagles die. Cry, Eagles cry. I don't like any of you. Pewter and red till I'm cold and dead. I love this team. Go Bucs. Go Bucs. Go Bucs.